Today we're looking at the accent of Louis Tomlinson.
When we're in the band, we agreed that we would all have matching tattoos on our ankles of just like crosses, basically.
Last week I did a video all about Harry Styles' accent, and I got two types of comments. One was super positive, and thank you very much for all your wonderful comments. The other comment I received, it had a simple message. Tom, do Louis Tomlinson. So, just for you guys, here it is. One Direction star and successful solo artist Louis Tomlinson is from Doncaster, or Donny as it's also known. This is a town of about 100,000 people in South Yorkshire. Now, Yorkshire is a county in the north of England. Other famous people from Doncaster include TV presenter Jeremy Clarkson, footballers Danny Rose and Kevin Keegan, and fellow musician Youngblood. Now, Louis' accent is quite strong, it's really distinct, and there are lots of features that tell us that he's a Yorkshire lad.
This were a really bad tattoo before. This is the only cover-up I've ever had, actually, this one. Really weird, like a heart, and it had like headphones with like horrible decision.
Okay, the biggest feature that I noticed when I was watching all these interviews was the way that he drops his H. In this clip, it's really interesting because on some words he drops an H, and on other words he doesn't. Let's have a listen.
Really weird, like a heart, and it had like headphones with like horrible decision.
Right, so on heart and headphones, the H is present, but then on had and horrible, the H's are dropped. Now, I think with heart and headphones, these are content words. These are important words, right? They hold a lot of meaning in the sentence, so he's using the H, whereas had, it's what we call a function word. It's not important, it's a bit of grammar. So he's just dropping that H, add, right? Add, it disappears very quick. And then the way he says horrible, I love it, horrible. He says it a couple of times. Horrible decision. And he drops his H's throughout the interviews that I've seen. It's a very distinctive feature of a Yorkshire accent.
They all hurt. Anyone who's saying they don't hurt, it's bullshit. They all hurt.
Right, so we've got hurt instead of hurt. Check out this one.
I think almost by accident, especially here.
Ear, like ear, right? Instead of here. He does that one quite a lot, and this one as well.
Goes and gets his mate from behind wherever, and that's him, his mate. It's his mate's arm, and I've just been like saying, this guy's so cool.
Okay, so here, behind, it's behind. He's dropping that H in the middle position. So it's not just H's at the beginning of a word, it's also in the mid position of a word. Now, dropping an H is actually really common in British English accents. In fact, only RP, received pronunciation, and a Geordie accent keep or retain that H. Most other accents drop an H, so this is actually quite common and definitely very common in a Yorkshire accent. Now, speaking of Yorkshire, it's time for Louis to get super Yorkshire on us. Check this out.
Before I got in band.
Int band. Okay, what do you think that means there? Int band. Okay, it means in the band, right? So this is a contraction that we find in a Yorkshire dialect where in and the become int, or even just in band, right? In band. I'm doing a terrible example, probably better to let Louis do it again for you.
Before I got in band.
Okay, let's put that into another example. So I might say to someone, yo, like, where's Louis? And they would say, oh, he's just gone in shop. He's just gone in shop, in the shop, or into the shop. So yeah, it's an interesting little contraction, but he uses it differently in this example.
And it points to home. Isn't that sweet?
Isn't that sweet? So here, int means isn't, right? Isn't. So it's a contraction of isn't. I mean, isn't in itself is a contraction of is it not. That's contracted to isn't, and then this is a kind of Yorkshire dialect form, int.
And it points to home. Isn't that sweet? And this was one of the only tattoo shops that I've been into that there's a vibe, isn't there? You know what I mean?
Now, we would call this a kind of non-standard form, right? This isn't the normal standard structure of English. This is a variation. It's not wrong, it's just different. It's a non-standard form. And he actually uses A bit of non-standard English just here.
Just at times, I'm not going to lie, I can't help but be a bit of a show-off. That was one of them moments.
Now what we would expect there in standard English is that was, right? But he's using that were, and this is just a variation. As I said, it's not incorrect, it's fine, it's just a non-standard form. And also we might expect those, not them. So that was one of those moments. That's what I would say, but for his accent and his Yorkshire dialect, that were one of them moments. All right, he also uses that were in another example.
On my ankles here, that says the, and this says rogue, and that would name me band that I was in before One Direction.
Okay, here's our next pronunciation feature. He says me band.
And that would name me band that I was in before One Direction.
Right, not my band, as you would say in received pronunciation, me band. Now, he does this several times in the interviews. My becomes me band.
I said to anyone who knew me, I'd never have a tattoo and I'd never smoke cigarettes. My life went a different way.
I've got another example of it in a sentence that has so many interesting pronunciation features. For a language geek like me, it's a goldmine. Check it out.
I mean, this is probably my worst tattoo, even though it's pretty small. It's not great quality amongst all my tattoos, but this is pretty horrific.
Okay, let's start with what we already know. The dropping of the H on horrific, so it's horrific, and also me instead of my. Now we've also got the dropping of the T. We call it a glottal T, and this is another very distinctive feature of Louis Tomlinson's accent. Dropping of H's and dropping of T's. So he does it on tattoo, pretty, and quality. He says tattoo, pretty, and quality, but in a Yorkshire accent.
I mean, this is probably my worst tattoo, even though it's pretty small. It's not great quality amongst all my tattoos, but this is pretty horrific.
And Louis is pretty consistent with this. When we looked at Harry Styles' accent, sometimes he'd say the T, sometimes he wouldn't. It kind of varied. With Louis Tomlinson, he is dropping those T's most of the time. Now the other feature that I want to look at here is the short I on a Y at the end of a word. So pretty, pretty, quality, quality, right? That I sound. In RP and in other accents, you would have a longer E sound, so pretty or quality. For him, and in a Yorkshire accent, it's a shorter I sound. Let's hear all that again so you can identify those features one by one.
I mean, this is probably my worst tattoo, even though it's pretty small. It's not great quality amongst all my tattoos, but this is pretty horrific.
All right, here's another sentence that is also a goldmine. What I want you to do is to start to predict what sounds you're going to hear from Louis Tomlinson, okay? So what features might we expect him maybe to drop an H, drop a T? Have a listen, see what you can find.
You know, I think my mum did a good job of bringing me up and taught me good values and stuff like that.
Now there are two other features that I want to focus on. The first one is one that we learned in the Harry Styles video, that sound on mum, mum. Now this is a very distinct feature of northern accents. So northern accents include Scouse, Mancunian, Yorkshire, there's a variety. And obviously Yorkshire being a part of that would have this sound. So it's mum, it's up, and it's stuff.
You know, I think my mum did a good job of bringing me up and taught me good values and stuff like that.
We also had the F sound, the F on the TH, think. So in received pronunciation, it's think, but for Louis, it's F, it's think. Now he does that again in this sentence.
Again. No reasoning behind it, wanted something big for my arm.
Did you hear that? Something, something. So he's using the in some, so it's some, and then thing for the TH, so something.
No reasoning behind it, wanted something big for my arm.
Listen to that original sentence again.
You know, I think my mum did a good job of bringing me up and taught me good values and stuff like that.
At the end there, he says, like that, like that. Right, what's he saying? Well, it's like that, but he says like that. So on that first word, like, in received pronunciation, it's a diphthong, like. But in his accent, it becomes a monophthong, which is a single vowel sound. So it's like, right? It's just one sound there, like. And it's, I guess when I'm articulating it, it's a little bit wider. It's elongated, so it's a bit longer, and When I'm saying it, I'm sort of producing it a bit further back in my mouth. Like, as opposed to like, which I feel I create a bit further forward in my mouth. Actually, he does that sound a lot in the interviews on like right, like, fight, all those kinds of words. Now, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the like. So also he's glottalizing that k sound. So he doesn't say that k. So it's like. Now on the word that, he just gets rid of all the sounds. So that first th, that disappears, that's gone. And then the T at the end is glottalized. He gets rid of that as well. So the only sound left is ah, right? Ah. So he says, like ah.
And taught me good values and stuff like that.
Listen to it again, you'll see.
And taught me good values and stuff like that.
So this is an example of a very strong Yorkshire accent. But this isn't just a one-off. He does this several times.
To kind of just be open about the way that I feel and stuff like that.
Okay, I've got one more feature. I'm sorry, I get too excited talking about accents, and Louis Tomlinson's accent is just so rich in interesting pronunciation features. I've got one more for you, which is this.
It's been quite a fun journey for me, not taking it too seriously getting tattoos, because most people take them really seriously, you know what I mean?
Okay, did you hear the way he said take? He said tech.
Most people take them really seriously, you know what I mean?
So he's replaced that A sound with E. So it's become from a diphthong to a monophthong, E. And that is, again, a really specific feature of a Yorkshire accent, is tech. Tech. Can you take my keys? Also, you get it on take and make as well. I'm gonna make a cake. Now, what is interesting to me is that in that sentence, he says taking, like similar to how I've just said it, with an A sound, but when he says take, it's an E sound. So taking and tech. So he changes the vowel sound there. Interesting.
It's been quite a fun journey for me, not taking it too seriously getting tattoos, because most people take them really seriously, you know what I mean?
I have two requests. First of all, in the comments below, please let me know if there is anyone else you would like me to look at in terms of their accent. And the second thing is, please, if you know anyone that is learning English or that loves One Direction and Louis Tomlinson, please share this video with them. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. This is Tom, the Chief Dreamer, saying goodbye.